Hey, welcome to Tony's Pizzeria, and we got bookies in the back.
Hey, I saw on the fucking Yelp there that you got pizza.
Yeah, we got plenty of pizzas. We got the pizza. We got the pepperoni pizza. What you want? We also got some cannolis.
Well, Jesus Christ, what fucking you don't have there?
Yeah, we got a little bit of everything. You looking to do some sports gambling, hey?
No, I don't really care for the sports. Hey, you got somewhere I can listen to my podcast here?
Hey, you go over in the corner there, hey? I'll tell the guys to not mess with you. Hey, what kind of podcast you listening to there?
It's these two fucking galoots from Georgia there. They're called the Thicc Boys or the Big Boys or something like that.
The Big Boys?
Yeah, they're pretty fucking big boys, and they got this fucking podcast there.
I wonder how much pizza they eat there, eh?
Probably a fucking lot. You want me to send them down this way?
Yeah, send them my way, down to Big Tony's Pizza and Bookie. Tell them if they don't come by, I'll break their fucking knee.
Hey, whoa, you don't gotta get violent. I like these guys. All right, they're funny.
Alright, it's just the Italian coming out of me. Hey, if you know me, you know I like listening to the Thicc Boys or the Big Boys or whatever the fuck they're called. So why don't you come on down to Big Tony's or else I'll break your fucking knees. Come get the gabagoo.
Nice little surprise for you, bird.
It's probably some dude with some fucked up teeth.
Yeah. Some fucking swollen, like, fucking tumor dick.
Yeah. I want you to put your mange in this bangus and mash.
How gross. Stick it right in there. Yeah. That sounds like, did you ever see, Yellow, that animated cartoon.
Have you ever wondered why Robin Williams decided to go with a Scottish accent for Mrs. Doubtfire?
Did he? I haven't seen Mrs. Doubtfire. I know of it, but I haven't. Yeah. I have never watched.
Yeah, you gotta watch it. It's a classic. It's pretty good. Even today, it still holds up.
Yeah.
Like, it's still a good movie.
But
I mean, it's Robin Williams, so.
Well, yeah. He was one of those that, you know, there'll never be another like him.
Oh no.
Hang on, do one last thing. There we go. But yeah, speaking of Robin Williams, I was reading this thing the other day. It was talking about he had some reservations about doing the voice of Genie.
Really?
Because he was like an A-list Hollywood actor.
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't want to set the precedent of A-list Hollywood actors
doing voice acting,
doing the voice work when
they're voice actors.
There are voice actors.
Yeah. Well, at least he took that in consideration. He wasn't just like, yeah, fuck it. Just like
yeah, just cut me a check.
Yeah.
No, he yeah, he advocated for, you know, sourcing that work out to the people who that's their job.
Yeah, that's their job. That's their livelihood.
Not like this. I was bitching about the new Mario movie that's being made.
Yeah.
They fucking they cast Chris Pratt as the voice of Mario.
Why?
Because he's a fucking Hollywood actor.
But that makes no sense.
Part of me is like...
You listen here, Chris Pratt, you son of a bitch.
You know, I can't blame Chris Pratt. It's his job, right?
Yeah, you listen here, you son of a bitch.
Like, you motherfucker. It's like, you know, his agent or whatever probably approached him and was like, hey, I've got this role for you.
Yeah.
It's probably going to be big. It's a Mario movie made by Illumination.
Oh, so it's an animated movie.
Yeah, it's an animated movie. It's
Okay.
not another live action like that travesty.
Like the Goombas.
Yeah.
Like these things with these little ass heads. And they were wearing like these big like suits. Like, have you ever seen the
Yeah, they look
like the Kanye West meme where he's like in the big suit?
Yeah. They were like the Italian mob.
Yeah.
Like, hey, how the fuck you doing?
Hey, fuck you, hey.
Get over here, you motherfucker.
Yeah, get over here, you
Where's the
motherfucker,
Where's the fucking gabagoo?
Where's the gabagoo?
Hey, I'm walking here.
I'm walking here.
That fucking gabagoo reminded me. One of my buddies, Steven, a big fan of the podcast, he had posted on Snapchat a while back. He was making this big ass dinner, and he was talking like in an Italian accent about all the stuff he was cooking, and it was really funny because I messaged him. I said, "Where's the fucking gabagool?" He did message me back. He said, "In the garbage." That really cracked me up.
The other night, me and Autumn has made it was like the Chef Boyardee, like make your own pizza or whatever it was.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I just put on like a bunch of like old school like Frank Sinatra songs. What's that one? It's like, well, when the moon touches your eye like a big pizza pie.
When the moon hits your eye like a big pizza pie, that's amore. Yeah.
Isn't it funny that like you can totally be like racist as fuck towards Italian people?
Oh yeah, because because they're like white, right? So they're not like a protected group.
Yeah.
But it's,
He just like walk up to one of those, you're like, hey, what's the gabagoo?
hey, you motherfucker,
You motherfucker, you.
It's just like some Italian guy's like, please leave me alone. I don't even like pizza. Well, pizza is kind of like an American thing.
Yeah.
Like a pepperoni pizza.
Yeah, pepperoni pizza.
That wasn't like a thing they did in Italy. That was like that's like what America does, right? We just kind of bastardize other cultures and say, hey,
like, how fattening can we make this?
Yeah. They're like, you made this.
Yeah,
like we
these,
didn't make this,
yeah,
you made that.
Yeah, these fat fucks over here, I'm going to eat all that with all those fresh vegetables on it. They're like, that tastes like shit.
A little bit of mozzarella.
Mozzarella.
A little bit of spinach.
Yeah.
Like, no, we want cheese and sugary bread. Yeah. Put sugar in the tomato sauce.
And then somebody went, hey, I bet we can put cheese in that crust.
Just put cheese inside the crust.
Yeah, and then fucking Pizza Hut went, I bet we can stuff a big Cheez-It full of cheese and pepperoni.
That's like fucking Hardee's. Do you remember when Hardee's did the All-American burger?
Oh, yeah, it was like a split hot dog.
Yeah, it was like two hamburger patties and like a split hot dog bun and potato chips on top of that.
Yeah. Well, it should also be noted that Hardee's like bastardizes everything.
Oh yeah,
like the fucking Monster Burger, that fucking atrocity.
Yeah, the Monster Thicc Burger. I remember when me and Aaron used to work for the same company, and our job required us to drive around a lot.
Yeah.
And one day for lunch, we decided to go to Hardee's and get Monster Thicc burgers, which I'm pretty sure are like 3,500 to 4,000 calories.
Oh yeah,
it's like a lot.
It is it's way over your daily allowance.
It's almost like a marvel. Like, how did you get that many calories in there?
Yeah, there's like injecting it with fat.
Yeah, like some dude in the back with a syringe, just like squeezing it in there.
He has like a big tub of Crisco. It's just like they haven't like melted it down. It's still like this thick,
like
pasty
solid.
Crisco.
It's carved out with a knife. Oh my God.
Oh.
Well, let's bring the podcast in here. Hello and welcome to the 14th episode of the Thicc Bois Podcast.
The 14th episode.
This is kind of strange. We're recording this episode while I'm sitting on top of the raw audio for episode 13 that I have not yet edited. And
it also took me
like
a week and a half to get it uploaded to the Google Drive.
Yeah,
so.
it's the same old excuses. We got shit going on. You know how it is. Nobody's paying us to do this.
We're just lazy fucks. Is what it is.
And also that.
I'm just a lazy piece of shit.
I wanted to tell you about this road rage incident that I had the other day.
Go for it.
So my current job, I drive into Atlanta a lot.
Yeah.
I drive all over the place. But in this instance, I was driving into Atlanta. I was going down 78 past Quick Trip. You know where Quick Trip and Mapleton Parkway is, that intersection?
Mm-hmm.
Well, before we were coming up to that intersection, I was in the far right-hand lane. because I'm in a company vehicle and I have to go the exact speed limit because they've got a camera set up in my car or my truck that watches me, make sure I'm a good boy.
Gross. I just flick it off all the time.
Well,
Just say, hey, where's the
hey,
gabagoo?
where's the fucking gabagoo? Hey, you motherfucker.
You motherfucker,
Hey,
you.
You watching me drive, you motherfucker.
He's like showing up to all your jobs with like a plain black T-shirt and like a little skinny chain on.
Velvet tracksuit.
You like get out of the truck. And there's like people in the hall. You're like, you motherfucker, you.
Hey, what you doing, you motherfucker? The voices are fun to do. Anyway, I was in the far right hand lane. There's a lane next to me, and the lane next to that is the turn lane.
Yeah.
A turn lane that goes up to the red light, and you hang left or whatever. I was in the far right lane, and I'm approaching the red light, and this dude in this big ass yee truck.
Yeah.
With Trump flags hanging out the back of it, Trump bumper sticker, just Trump everything.
Yeah.
He cuts me off. Now, there's no vehicles behind me.
Yeah.
He totally could have just waited till I went past and pulled out behind me. But because he has a tiny little baby dick, he had to jump out in front of me.
Of course.
And I honked at him. It wasn't like a where. I just went like that. Because I can't like freak out on him. I'm being surveyed.
Yeah.
And he pulled out in front of me. I honked at him, whatever. He gets in that far left-hand turning lane.
Yeah.
And we come to the stoplight at the same time.
Yeah.
And I could feel him looking at me.
Yeah.
Right? And I just look over at him, and he's got his window rolled down, and he's just hanging a big bird out the window like this, just flipping me off.
Yeah.
And I just looked at him, and just all of a sudden, I was like, I got the perfect thing to say to this guy.
Yeah.
I rolled down my window and went, liberal!
I bet it totally threw him off his game. He didn't know what to do.
Well, I did that as I was pulling away, and he turned out. I could hear him yelling something back at me, and like the pitch of his voice. His voice was like that. It rose in pitch, and it was like the reason why I called him a liberal is because it's very clear that it's
that you are not.
The most important thing to him
is his conservatism.
That people know he's not a liberal.
Yeah.
Right. So I just like to imagine he drove away thinking like, why does that guy think I'm a liberal? But how much more clear can I make it?
Yeah.
What is wrong with me?
You should have been like, you fucking snowflake.
Yeah. It was like the most hurtful thing I could have said to him. I felt so proud of myself.
You should have looked at him and be like, I bet you're gender fluid, aren't you, you fucking liberal? It's just like a drove off.
Biden voter.
And then the whole time he's just like, oh my God.
Yeah. He's got home that night just laying in bed.
He's just wide awake.
In his camouflage blanket. What more can I do? But yeah. Well, what's been going on with you? For anybody that can probably picked up on it, but we're actually doing this in person this time.
Hey,
how you doing?
How you doing?
Hey, you motherfucker.
You motherfucker,
you. Yeah, we finally have a chance to do in-person podcast here.
Been a while.
It has been a while. It's been, like 2 months?
Probably longer than that.
Yeah. Probably longer because we've done, I think, 3
remote. I mean, they've been pretty spread out, so.
Yeah.
We probably need to do a better job of, like, when we're actually doing remote to, like, actually use the Zoom video, because I feel like the conversations would probably be a little bit more natural. Yeah, natural. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Well, I need to get me a what do you call it?
A webcam.
A webcam.
Yeah.
Because I don't have one of this PC.
Because it would be nice to be able to upload the video and the audio to like YouTube.
Yeah.
Or at least stream it. We could always stream it, and then if you stream it, then it actually saves it to the platform.
Yeah.
So that would be good.
We'll look into doing something a little fancy there. Also, I think it would make more sense if I saved the Zoom audio to my computer, since I've got the editing software. Huh?
So doesn't it do it?
I think I'd have
to. I think I know where it's at. I know the file structure, so I'll be able to show you.
Because the way we were doing it was Wesley would save it to his computer and then upload it to the Google Drive. Then I would download it to my computer. put it in the editing software,
Yeah.
and then upload that to the Google Drive.
Yeah, the whole time I was just like, what can I do to try to help support a little bit? It's like, I'm doing none of the work. I'm just talking into this fucking microphone.
I mean, it doesn't, well, it's a podcast. What all do you have to do?
That's true.
I mean, it takes me almost no time at all to get the thing edited.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like when we were doing the album.
Yeah.
I'm like, at the most, I just have to, I'm cutting the fan on. It's getting hot in here.
Yeah. Sorry if you hear a buzz. Then.
Yeah. It's a little warm.
So speaking of which, the weather's starting to cool off a little bit.
It is.
I'm excited about
very
that.
Nice.
It's fall time.
Yeah. It's Georgia fall.
Yeah, Georgia fall.
It's 45 degrees in the morning and 80 degrees at noon.
I think it was like 76 yesterday.
Close enough.
Yeah, we went down to Little Tallapoosa State Park and went for a walk down there. It was pretty nice. Went later in the day.
Where is that at?
Do you know
Tallapoosa.
where Sharps Creek Elementary School is at?
No.
Do you know, like, going towards the shooting range out near Temple?
Yes, Advanced Bullets.
Yeah, if you keep going down that road like an extra 3.5 miles, it's down past the place where Nanny and Pawpaw are buried at.
Okay.
Where that church is
that
at.
Catholic church, yeah.
Yeah, it's down past there. Like, Sharps Creek is on the left, and then, like, right behind it is Little Tallapoosa State Park.
I think I do know what you're talking about.
No.
Okay, yeah, they've got that. They've got those like trees that they've planted where they're all in like a grid pattern.
I think so.
Have you ever seen that on the side of the road? Like,
Yeah.
So Mary and I, we went to Panama City not long ago, and I kind of had made note of that. I was like, you can always tell when it's trees that have been planted because they plant them like equally spaced out in like this grid pattern. I was like, it looks unnatural.
Yeah, it does.
It's like it's too clean and human.
Yeah. Well, I guess it would just be, it's better to do that the way than just have some fucking schmuck run out there. And
Just like dumping seeds.
It's just like throwing seeds everywhere.
It'll look more natural.
But yeah, I mean, it's been a while since we've done an in-person podcast.
Yeah. Let's bring the mood down here a little bit because I wanted to ask you about something.
Okay.
At the time of recording this, it's still September. Okay.
Wake me up when September ends. I'm gonna throw a fit.
Yeah, I'm gonna freak the fuck out on stage because Justin Bieber got a better time slot than me. Never mind, he's the hottest thing in music right now. I'm just a washed up old British man.
Is he? I thought he was. I thought he was American.
He's got a better slot than me.
He got a better slot than me.
There's Justin Bieber.
Fucking wanker.
He looks like a little girl.
You little fucking wanker.
Go on, Bieber. Show us your minge. We know you got one. Slimy little minge hiding between your legs.
Oh, goodness.
So it's the... I can't really read that. The 25th. So we're actually 2 weeks past the 20th anniversary of September 11th.
Yes, we are.
So, I kind of wanted to ask you, like, what is your recollection of that day? Because you're like almost 2 years older than me. Like a year and some months.
I was in 6th grade when that happened, and the reason why I remember that is because we were in math class, I believe.
Yeah.
And the teacher, I don't remember what her name is, but the teacher that was teaching the math class, like all of a sudden, like these kids started getting pulled out of class. Like there was like one kid that got pulled out of class, which is, pretty normal.
Right.
Like everybody's like, oh, well, I guess you're going home early for the day. Like, but then after that, there was like 7 more kids that got pulled out of class.
So you're like, something's up.
And I was like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
And then, like, it was like me and 4 other kids. And then the teacher was like, she's like, I can't. She's like, I'm going to let you. She told us what was going on. She's like, somebody has attacked the World Trade Centers in New York. And I was like, I didn't know what the fuck the World Trade Centers were. I was like, what is that?
What does that mean? Yeah.
So I didn't see, like, the live footage of, like, the plane flying into it. All I saw was, like, the aftermath. Mm-hmm. But then, like, afterwards, I remember coming home because I remember they canceled football practice that day, so we didn't have football practice.
Right.
And then we came home, and I remember we were like watching like Fox or MSNBC or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Well, everybody, it didn't matter what.
It didn't matter back then. So, and then so they were like showing it and everything. And that's sort of like what I remember about it, because I remember there was like a 2-week period where they talked about Bush had the right to send, it was like either 5,000 or 10,000 soldiers overseas. Like he had the executive power to do that. Mm-hmm. But in order to be able
right away?
Right away for like an automatic response.
Yeah.
And I think that's correct. It's been a while since this has happened, but they had to go to Congress to get a declaration of war, right? Mm-hmm. And I remember 2 weeks after that, then they televised the bombings in Baghdad, like as it was happening.
Yeah.
Like I remember that specifically because I remember like they were showing it.
Was that our response?
Yeah, that was our response. Okay. Like that was the initial like, we're going to bomb you.
Yeah.
Like here it comes.
Yeah. And
then so I'm assuming that they probably had like a carrier or something over there, a couple carriers or something over there in that area. And I remember watching that because I remember it looked like the camera that they had was pointing, it was like probably on the outskirts of the city, and it was pointing towards the middle of it. And I remember they were just showing it, and all you could see was like these big flashes of light. Yeah. So I don't specifically remember hearing like the explosions when they were going off, but I do remember seeing like the flashes of light on the TV screen.
That's interesting because I didn't realize that we had responded that quickly.
I think it was 2 weeks. It might have been a little bit after that.
That's still pretty quick. I mean, to find out who or where, was who was behind it, quote unquote. I think there's a lot of there's a lot of debate to be had there. It couldn't be because they were sitting on top of a bunch of oil. Couldn't be that.
Or opium.
Yeah, or that. Yeah.
Do you remember when that happened? Like, it was probably a couple months after that. There were, like, when the reporters were going over there and everything, like, they had released some pictures and everything of these U.S. military members were guarding these poppy fields, like, in the, like, up in, like, the mountains of like, Afghanistan.
I don't remember that. I remember them guarding the oil fields.
They were guarding the oil fields, but they were also guarding poppy fields.
Yeah.
Interestingly enough, Afghanistan is the #1 producer and exporter of opium in the world.
Yeah.
They produce 85% of it.
God dang, that much?
Yes, 85%.
Holy shit. Wow. Well,
it's like you have to take into consideration that opiates, which are like painkillers and stuff like that.
Yeah, like oxycodone, morphine.
Yeah, comes from poppy seeds.
Yeah.
It's a derivative or whatever it is. Like somehow they extract that material. So I don't know. It's just fucking messy. The whole thing's fucking messy because you have like this situation where all these innocent people have died for no good reason. It's like, and then you've turned it into this thing where it's like, oh, well, we're going to avenge these people, but we also have economic interests over there and all this other stuff, and it's just. The whole thing's just fucking gross.
All the oil companies and bankers deciding where our military forces
it's just gross. The whole thing's gross.
Yeah, I'm under no illusion that it was done, out of, that our presence was held there for so long out of, some kind of goodwill towards those people.
Oh, fuck no.
I don't believe that even for a second.
No. And I also, I don't like the argument that we were over there protecting the rights of people over there, because it's like, okay, if we were actually concerned with like humanitarian efforts and whether or not people like humanity is being taken from them, it's like, well, if that's the case, then why are we not doing anything about North Korea? Why are we not doing anything about the Uyghur Muslims in China? Like, I don't want to hear that excuse. That's not an excuse I want to hear.
Well, that's just something that politicians are telling you. So when you go to bed at night, you don't have to think about it. You can think we're over there just being the good guys.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and a lot of the thing is, too, is that you have to come to the conclusion that you cannot be absolved of all sin from this situation. Yeah. Because if we're looking at it objectively and we're looking at what is the end result and how did we arrive there, it doesn't matter how we got there. How did we arrive at this end result? Yeah. It's that you are willing to let others do violence on your behalf
Well, there was a lot of proxy going on too.
No.
The CIA.
Oh yeah.
Funded how many.
And that's the thing is and they funded all these coups and these overthrows in Iraq and Afghanistan.
And Russia did the exact same thing.
And Russia did the same thing.
So it was kind of like a big cockfight.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Pitting these people against one another.
And that's the thing. It's then one of them will get in power. Then they go, oh, we don't like that guy. We got to get rid of him.
Yeah.
It's and then you look at it and you're like, well, no wonder these people don't fucking like us.
And they don't even hide it.
Yeah.
They don't even hide that shit.
No, it's no wonder these people fucking hate our guts.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
it's we're keeping them in a perpetual state of flux.
Yeah.
You can't run a country that way. It's you can't keep them as a failed state forever.
Yeah. Well, one of the points I had brought up was, America has the strongest military in the world. You've got the largest Navy by a long shot. I mean, there's no other military force in the world that even comes close to us.
No.
I mean, China maybe has numbers, but what does that really mean in today's, in the way war is waged today? It means fucking nothing. So if the intention was from the get-go to go over there and destroy the enemy and completely subdue them, you don't think we could have went over there and just completely ramrodded a bunch of cave people?
Oh yeah.
In a matter of months?
Oh yeah.
We absolutely could have.
Oh yeah.
But that wasn't the intention.
No, it wasn't.
The intention was to get over there and secure interest and assets.
Yeah.
That's the only reason.
The funny thing is that if you go back in time, Dwight D. Eisenhower, I think on his exit speech, warned against this. He's like, you have to be aware that the military-industrial complex is a thing.
Yeah.
And it's and you cannot buy into it.
Yeah.
You cannot. Because war makes money.
Yeah.
It does. Well, it makes money for certain people.
Mm-hmm.
Other people get the fucking shaft.
Yeah.
Like normal fucking people. It's let's take into consideration that how much money was spent on the war on terror.
Yeah.
It's
the 20 years that we
our
were
national debt was at $2 trillion,
Yeah.
and now it's up to $24 trillion.
Yeah. And we have nothing to show
and
for
we
it.
have nothing to show for it.
And those people over there, those innocent people over there, are under the rule of the Taliban.
Yeah, exactly.
So nobody...
Well, it's not only that, but you're also talking about misinformation and all this other things, all these innocent people that died from drone bombings and everything else under Bush, under Obama, under Trump, and under Biden.
Yeah, here recently there was a bombing that killed 10 Afghan civilians.
Yeah.
10.
Yeah.
That could be 2 to 3 families.
Yeah, and it's the same. And the thing is, it's you have to look at it from a perspective of what if it happened over here? Mm-hmm. What if you were unfortunate enough to grow up in a dimension in which the U.S. was not the world power, that the U.S. was subject to all these other nations coming in and doing whatever they want to do, and that our way of life meant nothing to them.
Yeah, you're like an anthill.
You're like an anthill. You mean nothing.
Yeah.
It's especially too, it's the thing that amazes me is how many people that have children and that you see these kids and stuff that have nothing to do with it's you blew up a fucking school. Mm-hmm. You blew up a fucking school full of teachers and fucking children because you had bad intel. Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, and you don't even oops,
yeah,
sorry.
Oops, my bad.
Yeah. Here,
it's no, that's a fucking war crime.
Yeah.
That's a fucking war crime.
Yeah.
You deserve to go to prison forever.
Yeah.
Forever.
Be hung for that shit.
Not only that, it's but you deserve to go to prison forever. But we also have people sitting in prisons that are in prisons for maximum sentences for fucking nonviolent offenses.
Yeah. Or
it's so what are we doing?
People with got caught with a little bit of weed.
Yeah. Well, it's what are we doing? What are we doing?
Yeah. Well, part of the reason I wanted to bring it up was because when
sorry, I got off on a tangent there.
No, it's okay. I mean, those things that all goes hand in hand. I mean, you can't talk about one without talking about the other. But I was in 4th grade when that happened, and so in 4th grade I wasn't really focused on anything at all. So when that happened, I kind of have this hazy memory of them rolling in a TV into the room. And
like an AV club.
Yeah, something like that. And
some kid with taped up glasses.
Yeah, some little fucking Poindexter. And they were playing the news.
Yeah.
And I remember looking at it and you're just thinking
you're what is this?
Not even really paying attention to that. And then of course, Mom pulled us out. And so many things shut down and people went home and got their kids because nobody knew.
Yeah, nobody knew
what was coming next.
Yeah.
I mean, like when the first reports broke that a plane had crashed into the World Trade Center, everybody was thinking, okay, like a little single prop like Cessna or somebody, flight failure, crashed into the plane. Nobody had any idea that it was a full-on
a fucking jetliner,
commercial airliner.
Yeah.
And then when the second one happened, I think that's when people were like, we're being attacked.
Yeah.
And this has never happened.
Well, it was both the World Trade Centers, and then there was one that crashed in Pennsylvania. I think that was headed for the White House.
I think it was headed for Camp David.
Was it headed for Camp David?
Mm-hmm.
And then there was another one that crashed into the Pentagon.
Yeah, well, supposedly.
Supposedly.
If you see the pictures, there's no wreckage of any planes.
Interesting.
How about that? I don't fucking know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the whole thing is the thing is, too, is that everybody gets so upset when you question this. It's like, but if you look throughout the history of the U.S., it's like, how many fucked up things has the government done?
Is it really outlandish to say that it could have been an inside job?
Well, it's like, what about Operation Northwoods?
Yeah.
It's like where they literally were like, we are going to blow up a jetliner above fucking Miami so we can start a war with Cuba.
Yeah. There's
like
no
the
reason,
CIA was like, we're doing it.
Yeah, there's no reason to think that we couldn't have...
Well, and like another thing is too is, and they're like, oh, and we found their passports at the wreckage site. It's like the thing fucking burnt down.
Yeah,
it's like you found passports.
Yeah,
it's like not only that, but they weren't even fucking Afghani passports. They're fucking Saudi Arabian passports.
Mm-hmm. Well, the one thing I don't buy was that there was demolition charges set up inside the World Trade Center. Now, if you look at the way the building came down, it does look very similar to how a demolition, an implosion occurs. But for Christ's sake, a plane flew into the building, and people was like, "Oh, jet, the whole jet fuel doesn't melt steel beams."
It would have made more sense to me if it hit lower on the building, for it to collapse down onto itself.
Well,
but the fact that it hit so high up, I'm like, I don't think there were demolition charges, but at the same time, it's like, what about, was there something inside the plane that could have caused it to do that?
The thing too is, consider, even though it did hit that high up, there's still several floors and several thousand tons of, building. Yeah. That is sitting on top of a compromised structure. Yeah. It's like the steel beams, a steel beam doesn't have to melt to lose its stability. Yeah. It can reach about half that and become weakened. Yeah. At a perfect temperature, it can hold up that weight. Yeah. But when it's compromised, it's not going to hold up that weight. It doesn't have to be liquid. It just has to be weakened. Yeah. So when the building came down, I personally don't think that there was demolition charges. The building was weakened and it fell. Yeah. I guess people think it's going to fall over like a tree being cut down.
Yeah, like Jenga.
Yeah. Like if it could hold itself up enough to fall like that, it probably would have landed and stayed that way.
Yeah, there's some fucking lumberjack.
People would have just came out the bottom of the building. Like, oh, that was crazy.
He's like, Geronimo. But but it's like the whole thing's just fucking horrific. It's like you see like some of the pictures of like the people that were jumping off.
Yeah, falling.
They're like, it's like I'm going to die. Like so, at least I get to pick how I'm going to die.
Like, do I stay here and die of smoke inhalation or melt to death or burn alive? No. Or do I just jump out and have it over in a couple seconds? Yeah, when this time of year comes around, you start seeing the videos and the news pieces and things like that, and I'm very prone to go down like rabbit holes and stuff on YouTube, start watching videos, and I have only ever lived consciously in a post 9/11 world. I don't remember what it was like before that. No. Like I was a kid and I was alive before that, but like I said, it happened when I was in fourth grade.
Yeah, I have a little bit more time where I spent, I guess, like I remember a lot more of like the first house that we lived in as opposed to
the log cabin.
The log cabin as opposed to the second house. So I guess all of like my is it like your formative years or whatever it is? Is that what they call it? Yeah, whatever that is. So that happened in the
when
log
you were
cabin.
Like coming online.
Yeah.
When your consciousness was forming. It's kind of related to the topic. Is do you know about the Concorde?
No.
The supersonic jet. It was I don't remember who designed it.
The Spruce Goose?
The Spruce Goose? That was the Spruce Moose.
The Spruce Moose?
Was it the Spruce Moose?
I thought it was the Spruce Goose.
I have no idea. Is that the one
Spruce Caboose.
So the Concorde was this funky-looking plane. It was a supersonic, so faster than the speed of sound.
No.
Commercial jet. Mm-hmm. And at the time that it was flying, only like the super rich could afford a ticket on this thing.
I think I have heard about this.
It had like the nose cone that kind of pointed downward.
Yes.
And it took off kind of looking up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I was talking to Mary about it because I had heard on the radio that they're planning to have supersonic commercial air travel.
Like jetliners?
Yeah, by 2029.
Yeah.
And I was like, I had just remembered, I was like, I think there used to be a plane like that, and like a long time ago, and for some reason they stopped flying it. Well, I found out the reason why. Because there was a flight coming out of France. The Concorde was leaving France.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like flight 4945 or something like that.
Yeah.
And their left engine caught fire as they were taking off the runway. And there's a thing in aviation called the decision speed, and it's the speed. It's a speed that you reach where you cannot abort the takeoff.
No.
Like there's no time to abort the takeoff. You have to commit and you have to get up the runway.
No.
And they had gone well past that speed. The engine caught fire.
No.
And they couldn't control the plane. I mean, it just immediately went to shit.
No.
And it crashed into a hotel.
Oh, Jesus.
Near the airport. So it went as bad as it could have gone.
Like
anything
that could have gone bad went bad.
But so aside from that, the plane itself is really interesting because its top speed is like 1,350 miles an hour.
That's well beyond.
That's almost twice the speed of sound.
Yeah.
That's that thing's top speed. That's like redlining the RPMs.
Yeah.
But
they're just fucking eating up fuel.
Oh yeah. They had said that thing ate so much fuel that the taxi from the hangar to the runway used as much fuel as a car would in a month.
Really?
Yeah, it just burned through fuel.
Now, did they have to like refuel midair?
I don't think so because it was so fast that it got where it was going quick enough.
This seems really sketchy.
Yeah. Well, it could cross the Atlantic in 3.5 hours.
Yeah.
A flight from here to Italy.
Just praying to God that nothing goes wrong.
Yeah. 3.5 hours. And that's at cruising speed, which I think was like 700, just a little bit past the speed of sound. And they give you kind of a frame of reference, like a 747.
And isn't it like when you break
at 450?
Isn't it like when you break the sound barrier, like you see like in there's a physical representation of that? Yeah,
it's like a cone shape behind the aircraft.
Yeah.
I had watched a video a while back about why that happens. I can't remember anything about why that is.
I guess it makes me wonder, it's like, what if like you're like 10 miles an hour under the speed of sound and then you slowly inch your way past the speed of sound? Do you still get that physical representation of you breaking the sound barrier?
I would think so, because I think what it is you have a physical object moving through air, moving through a medium. In this case, it's air. And breaking the sound barrier just means that you are ahead of the sound waves that you created.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
So like a normal plane flying at 450 miles an hour is creating sound waves coming from the engine. So if you imagine the sound waves are moving out, concentrically from the center of the plane, those sound waves are still ahead of you.
That's true.
But when you go past that means that the sound waves are catching up to you.
Yeah.
So if you went, if you went just past the sound,
so then you create
sound,
was it that sonic boom or whatever it is like that? Yeah.
Well, the sonic boom, all that is that first sound wave reaching you once the object has passed.
Yeah.
If you've ever seen videos of like jets doing flybys, like the jet's fucking gone, and then you hear the jet.
Yeah. We got buzzed by MiG one time.
A Russian plane?
Yeah.
Well, for real?
Iraqi. It was either Iraqi or Iran. Yeah, when we were in the Gulf.
No shit.
Yeah.
Is that just like just showing their dick?
Yeah, did a flyby. Just like, oh, look how big our dick is.
Really?
Yeah.
And were you on a destroyer?
I was on a cruiser.
Oh, you were on a cruiser.
Yeah.
Still, you had the capacity.
Yeah, if
to
I'm
take
not
down
mistaken,
a
I'm
plane.
pretty sure that happened.
And you guys still have like Sea Whizzes and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
we tracked it.
There's no instance in which a single MiG can do anything to a naval vessel.
Yeah, no. Yeah. No. Yeah, no, like, we're armed to the fucking teeth.
Yeah, so it was basically like a little dog barking at a big dog.
Yeah,
it's all that
pretty
was.
much. We're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like, we turned everything online, and we're like, okay. Like, you wanna go?
Yeah. You want a fucking tango?
Yeah.
Hey, what the fuck are you doing?
You wanna fucking
hey,
go?
I'm flying
here. This is like the fucking Italian guy.
Just sitting in the cockpit.
Yeah.
Like,
Hey.
He doesn't even have like the aviation helmet
Yeah.
on. He's just sitting there with his greased back hair. Hey, I'm flying here.
Hey, I'm fucking flying
hey, look
here.
at my fucking GAU 1080 here. My fucking 810 Warthog here. The captain's like, hey, I'm boating here.
That's why the Italians have like their military is such shit.
Too busy eating pasta. Taking what's it called? Seances? No, that's when a seance is when you commune with the dead.
What's
What's
it? You're thinking of a siesta.
Yeah. Seance.
A seance. It's like a big pentagram on the front of the show.
Yeah. What the fuck are you Italians doing? That's really interesting. What did you think about that? At the time, were you just kind of like, yeah, like whatever, dude?
I didn't fucking care.
Yeah.
like I was so fucking, I was so deep into depression.
You mean to tell me that being in the Navy wasn't all sunshine and flowers all the time?
It was never that. At least for me. I know that other people have different experiences, so I don't want to put other people's experiences down. But my experience, at no point did I have a good time.
Really?
Like, I had a good time, like, when I was in foreign ports drunk. Like, that's fun.
When you were pissing yourself in France.
Yeah, when I was pissing myself in France.
Yeah.
And that part wasn't fun.
Puking into
into a
little
plastic
cup.
Throwing a fucking wine bottle into a fancy vineyard like some fucking asshole.
Yeah, no wonder the whole world hates us.
Yeah.
You're over there representing us. So what was so bad about it? Just like, it was like the monotony, being away from home, kind of a mix of everything?
It was, and I don't want to say that it was every leadership position that I ever came into contact with, but the one that I had the most contact with, I hated that man's guts.
Really?
Like, to my core, I still hate him to this day.
Really? Just like a big piece of shit?
He's a massive piece of shit.
Wow.
Yeah. Like, I told multiple people, like, I hated him so much that I was like, I hope that he gets dementia and that his family never comes to see him.
Jesus.
And that he goes into a hospice environment, and then a minute before he gets ready to pass, he has a moment of clarity, and it's nothing but panic. And then he dies.
Oh my God.
Like,
that's true hatred.
Yeah, that's how deep down in the hole I was.
Wow. I mean, I don't blame you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't. At this point in my life, like, I don't fucking care anymore. Like, that part of my life is well behind me.
Yeah, you're past all
like,
that.
I've used it for what it was worth, and now I've kind of gone on about my business.
Yeah.
But
and in the grand scheme of things, it's like a blip on the radar.
yeah, it's a blip on the radar.
Yeah.
It's nothing. I still hate that motherfucker, though.
Yeah. He can still have his dementia death there.
Yeah.
It was like those, like we said, the final 3 seconds of death is just unbridled terror. Just.
Can you imagine? It's like in some fucking like Italian hospice. Like, hey, what are you doing?
Hey, I'm dying here.
I'm dying here.
Hey, he's screaming here.
It's like some fucking Italian New York hospice.
Yeah.
Fucking Andrew Cuomo comes in.
Hey, I'm your fucking doctor. Hey, you set up your fucking IV bag. Hey, it's a mozzarella sauce. Hey.
We're gonna put some Alfredo in your fucking gut there.
Hey doc, why don't you put a little something special in my IV bag there? Hey, you know,
Hey.
hey, I'm in a lot of pain here. You ate a bag of cannoli. Where the fuck you get the cannoli from?
Yeah, you eating a cheesecake.
You eating a cheesecake.
You eating a cheesecake, then you die a horrible death.
He ate the cannoli from Gazpacho's down on 2nd and 3rd day. What the fuck you going to Gazpacho's for? You need to go to fucking Gabagoo over here. You know what? Look, 20 years from now, somebody's going to dig all this up.
Oh, yeah, they're going to be super mad.
It's going to get fucking canceled.
Yeah, they're going to be super mad.
It's not coming from a place of hate.
No.
It's just funny.
Yeah, it's just, I find it extremely hilarious, so I keep doing it.
Oh, man. It's like, it's like anything else that's like, funny or like in comedy. It's like, just like it's like when a comedian tells a joke and they get canceled for it.
Oh, yeah.
It's like
like I don't really mean what I'm saying. I'm just dicking around.
It's just funny.
Yeah.
It's like, you have to take into consideration what was the intent. Was the intent to be harmful or was the intent to be funny?
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Yeah. And God forbid Twitter just has no fucking clue.
I'm not even on Twitter.
I have a Twitter account. I barely use it.
I take that back. I set up a Twitter account in 2010 and I've never used it. I've never posted up one thing.
I used mine when I was playing mobile games because a lot of them are like, hey, if you share us on Twitter, you get like 2,000 gems or whatever, something like that. So like
Raid Shadow Legends.
So like the first like 10 or 20 posts of mine are just that.
Yeah. Hey, Raid, why don't you listen to me real quick? We will definitely pimp you out.
Oh, absolutely. We will shill so fucking hard for you.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. Well, I will raid your Shadow Legends. Hey, Raid. Hey, Raid. Hey, you fucking playing Shadow Legends. Hey, use my code Gabagoo to get... Join my clan here.
Join my clan here.
Do you remember that point in our lives where like everybody was playing fucking Clash of Clans?
Oh, yeah, that was like, what, 2014 when everybody was playing that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me, you, Dad, Aaron, fucking everybody was playing.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, until you reach that point where it's like you can't get ahead unless you spend real money.
Yeah, they wanted you to spend real money.
I remember I was telling Mary about this a long time ago. It was like at one point in that game, it was like to upgrade my town hall to the next level, and not spend any money, I would have had to collect all my resources every 8 hours on the hour, not get attacked by other clans for 14 years straight to level up one more time.
Yeah.
And it was like
it's just like you come to this realization, you're like, oh.
Yeah, okay. I had some money siphon.
Yeah.
And even like, it's very clear at that point, like that's the plan for you the whole time is to spend actual real money on those things. So it's not like you can get to a point where you're actually having a good time because all the people who are like rich, like the Saudi Arabian princes who have nothing to do, have got 40
and that's
iPhones.
the thing too is you could go and look like on the top players and it was all like
look at the names,
all of the names.
Yeah. Like the top.
Yeah, they have all this money, nothing better to do
because they're just spending millions on gyms and Clash of Clans and stuff like that. And it's like, you look at the microtransactions within those games. Every single mobile game is like that, right? So you have like two different types of currency.
Yeah.
Usually it's like cash and gold or like those thing like that. And cash you can earn through doing things in the game. And gold you get from doing
special
like buying it.
Yeah.
And they're fucking ridiculous. You have like a $1.99 option, a $5.99 option, a $19.99 option, a $49.99 option, all the way up to $200.
Yeah.
And it's like, part of the intention there is to get these rich people to pick up the game.
Oh, of course.
Play it for a month, dump $100,000 into it like it's nothing, or. Some little kid on his mom's phone who has her credit card attached to it.
It's the slow knife that cuts the deepest. Was it that Batman movie where she stabs him with the fucking knife? And he's sitting, he's like...
Batman.
Now I will break you.
Batman, I see you are level 12. I'm level 15. Bane, I'm trying to play the game. Too bad. I'm rich. No, Batman would be the one to because he has all the money in the world, right? He'd be the one to be like level 100 in a month.
Yeah, absolutely.
fucking.
Well,
piece of shit.
the interesting thing too now is like you see it a lot with regular games. Like they've kind of taken that same approach.
Absolutely. And if you're not into the video game world, you don't really see why that's a problem.
No.
Because nowadays, it's not as bad right now because the consumer turned against a lot of the production companies and publishers that were doing that shit. EA and Ubisoft and all those guys were the worst offenders. The problem was that it's like, well, you don't have to buy that stuff. Like, well, that's not the point.
Yeah.
The point is, they're not making these games to give you an experience that was born out of, a team's idea for a game. No. They're making these games almost like by this scientific formula that's perfectly created to get you...
Yeah, to spend more money.
To be invested in it and want to spend money in the game. And that's a big reason why, video game prices have not changed from $60 for like 40 years now.
No.
The price of everything's getting more expensive, but video games are
staying the same.
And another interesting fact about that is Microsoft has not made a profit on one Xbox console sale since it has come out.
Really?
Has not turned a profit on one console sale because all the money comes from in-game purchases.
That makes sense.
You know what I mean? Yeah. And in-game purchases were a thing back when the Xbox 360 was around, but that was like, $2.99 for like a couple of skins or whatever, like in a single-player game.
Yeah, but that happened well into the life cycle of the 360.
Yeah. And, or you could get like DLC that would like give you like...
See, and that's fine. I had no problem.
10 plus hours of gameplay,
like if
new content.
Like if it's, if it was a situation where, like, I specifically remember with Halo 3, like they were coming out with like the different maps and stuff like that. And it was like, I'm okay spending some money like to get that stuff if like I enjoy your game. Like the original game that you sent out like it had positive reviews. I enjoyed playing it. I had a good time. It's like, and then you're like, oh, hey, like we had a team on the side that was also working with some assets that we want to present this to you now, and it's only like $15-$20.
Totally reasonable.
Yeah, totally reasonable. It's like, absolutely.
Yeah, because it would be like 8 maps, new game modes. It was a lot of content, and it was developed well.
Yeah.
It wasn't like this half-baked shit that they put out now.
No.
And so many games now, especially this games as a service thing, or they have the ability now to patch games post-release, is they will release these games that are not finished.
Looking at you, Cyberpunk.
No doubt.
I've played it one time. I've never played it again.
I
picked it up for an hour and I said, nope.
I was following that when it was coming out, and it was like, it was what CD Projekt Red was the devs. I don't know who the publisher was. Was it Ubisoft? It may not have been Ubisoft. I know it wasn't EA.
No. I think CD Projekt Red has its own publisher, and that's how they published it.
Really?
Yes.
That's interesting.
I think so.
It's interesting.
Don't quote me on that. I could be wrong.
If that is the case, that it failed as hard as it did.
No.
Because usually what happens is the publishers are the ones telling the developers what deadlines they have to meet.
Yeah.
Like, we don't care if the game is finished or not. That thing has to come out by Christmas.
Well, yeah, that's the thing, too, is that they pushed it back like...
A lot.
Yeah. Like it was supposed to come out in 2018 or something like that?
If you're working under a publisher, you don't get away with that shit.
No.
They cancel your shit.
No.
It's like if you're saying that it's not even playable
but the thing
yet,
is like, I think the game was in such a fucking bad state when they released it. It's like if they would have honestly been like, hey, we're going to show you some gameplay and the reason why we're not releasing it yet, and everybody would be like, oh.
Oh, okay. That makes sense, yeah.
Okay, well, take your time. Like,
yeah. Well, and that's...
Well, that's the thing, though, is like when people aren't transparent, when people aren't sincere, then it creates more problems for you, even in a business model.
Yeah.
Like the more sincere you can be with your business model, the better your business model is going to be.
The worst thing you can do is build distrust with the consumer base.
Exactly.
Because the next thing you put out is probably not going to do well, even if it is great.
Yeah.
It's like No Man's Sky. You've probably heard us talk about the YouTube channel Internet Historian before. That guy has a great channel. You should check him out.
Oh,
yeah. He did a video on No Man's Sky. It kind of goes over just the fucking comedy of errors that game was. They had promised so much stuff in development, and they were a small studio. I think they had like 14 people. And they were promising this huge game, this big, giant,
it was like the most immersive game that has ever existed.
19 trillion planets you can go and visit. And it's like they had promised so much stuff, and they kept building up and building up and building up that by the time they hit their release date, it wasn't ready yet, and they put it out. But they did end up slowly adding that stuff onto the game. They did not charge for anything else. Like most publishers now would give you half of the game that they promised.
Yeah,
and
like, hey,
sell you the rest of it later. Yeah, they'll call it DLC.
Like, you can go fuck yourself.
Yeah. Hey, I'm scamming here. But yeah, that's so a big part of the problem there is the publisher. Yeah. Because a lot of times the devs want to create something good.
And that's not in any way, shape, or form blaming the devs for...
Yeah, I hate to see people blaming the devs. Like, people shitting all over... Like, say if somebody was shitting all over Bungie for probably something that was outside of their control, when Microsoft is the publisher, and Microsoft is probably the one who told them, hey, this has to be in the game. Hey, you have to take this out of the game.
Kudos to Microsoft for being okay with pushing that back.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because what they released looked like fucking dog shit. Dog shit.
Yeah.
There is no way that would have been received well at all.
Yeah. Well, Cyberpunk was so bad that it got deplatformed from Sony.
Sony wouldn't sell it.
Only said, this is so fucking bad, we're not selling it.
Yep.
It's like that's like a once in a lifetime kind of fuck up right there. One of my favorite games of all time is Dead Space. Mm-hmm. And Visceral Studios was the developer, and they made 1 and 2, and I'm pretty sure EA was the publisher from the beginning.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody expected 1 to take off the way that it did. Yeah. And 1, in my opinion, 1 is a masterpiece. Dead Space 1 is a masterpiece. Dead Space 2 is great. It's actually it's kind of weird. Dead Space 2 is my favorite in the series because I think it's a little bit more realized.
Yeah.
Dead Space, but it's not as good as Dead Space 1.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird that way, but
Dead Space 2 was telling the story. Dead Space 1 was more concerned with the immersiveness of the experience.
Yeah, and for a horror game, that's kind of what you want to go for. Dead Space 2 is when you kind of start seeing more like the action elements come into play. But it still meshed well with the horror elements of the game. Dead Space 3 comes around, and it's
never played that.
It's fucking Call of Duty in space with zombies. It's really all it is. No. That's a little reductive, but they worked in those microtransactions into the story, and it had their like shitty half-baked multiplayer thing. Everything's got to have a multiplayer mode because
no, not everything has to have a fucking multiplayer.
Because EA, the publisher, told Visceral Studios, the developer, you have to put this shit in the game, whether you want to or not.
Or you can be like Bethesda and just keep releasing fucking Skyrim. It just works.
It just works. That motherfucker. I mean,
he's such a fucking piece of shit.
Here's the thing. They wouldn't keep releasing it if you motherfuckers didn't keep buying it.
Yes, stop buying
Skyrim. It came out in 2011. Quit buying it. And so Dead Space 3 did not perform well.
Yeah.
And Visceral Studios got shut down because of that.
Yeah.
Because it was totally outside of their control.
Yeah.
It's there's several instances of that of the publisher fucking over the developers.
Yeah.
It's like you know Halo Wars, the top down, what they call RTS, real time strategy game.
Yeah.
Where you have to you have a group of soldiers and you select them and you.
It was like StarCraft and all that stuff.
Something like that. That originally started out as a totally different game. It was not Halo. It was something called Project Phoenix. Mm-hmm. And I don't remember the team that developed it, but they brought it to Microsoft to try and get it published. Microsoft sat down with them in their pitch and everything, watched the game, and said, "Hey, this is great. Make it Halo, or we're not publishing it."
Yeah.
And the developers were like,
"What?"
we didn't want this to be a Halo game.
Yeah.
How can you tell us to do that? We're not Bungie.
No.
But they were at that point. They're up against the wall.
Yeah.
So their options are cut your losses. Everything you've done on developing this game is now for nothing. Or
now, were
make it Halo.
Were they exclusives to Microsoft or?
Yes, because they approached Microsoft as a publisher.
Oh.
And I don't.
But if Microsoft didn't sign it, you could go to Sony.
I don't know the legality of it all.
Yeah. I would assume. I've never done any of that before, but
so Microsoft told them, make it Halo or fuck off.
No.
And so the studio was like, okay, I guess we gotta make this Halo now.
Yeah.
And they approached Bungie and they told Bungie, look guys, we know Halo is your baby.
Yeah.
We want to make our game, but we can't unless it's a Halo game. Will you help us?
Yeah.
And Bungie was like, really did not want another studio fucking with their IP.
Yeah.
Understandably.
Yeah.
But it all ended up working out pretty well.
No.
Halo Wars and Halo Wars 2 are both great games.
They're good games.
But I mean, that very easily could have went bad.
Oh yeah.
Very easily, especially if Bungie was like, "No, fuck you."
Yeah, go fuck yourself.
Yeah, go fuck yourself. Go out there and fail.
Yeah, well, we have no choice.
Yeah.
I guess we have to do what we have to do now.
But I mean, they worked with him. I'm pretty sure Marty O'Donnell helped with him with the music. That might be wrong, but he's the one that did all the composition for Halo's.
Which, by the way,
games.
Marty O'Donnell is fucking fantastic.
Yeah, dude.
Fucking fantastic. Probably one of the best composers.
Yeah. In my opinion,
especially for a video game series,
just in media in general, I think Marty O'Donnell's up there with Jonathan Williams.
No,
I mean I'm probably catch some flack for saying that.
No.
I don't give a shit. Jonathan Williams, the guy who did Star Wars and Jurassic Park and all that, Marty, he's up there with him. I mean, he's. And
we should also bring up what's his name, that did the Doom remake.
Oh, Mick Gordon.
Yeah, Mick Gordon. Mick Gordon's the fucking man.
Mick Gordon is he's in the same building, but he's in a different room.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
He's over there like beating fucking trash cans and shit, and turning it into fucking this ball ass metal music.
Have you ever looked at like when he was making the music? Bethesda told him, Bethesda being the publisher, id Studios being the developer.
Yeah.
Bethesda told him no guitars, no metal, and he said okay. And then he made metal music. He said, "Here's what I got," and they said, "Now we know we said no metal music, but this is so motherfucking good that we're gonna let you run with it."
Well, it was so amazing how they used that music, like even the way in which you play the game, how the music changes while you're playing the game.
Yes.
Like that is that had never happened before.
The adaptive. I guess it's called
like an adaptive soundtrack
or something like that. The really interesting thing is you say you have a song that's playing while you're walking, moving around, nothing's really happening. But when an enemy comes on screen, then new instruments come in and it kicks up the pace of the song. There's all kinds of videos you can watch about how they did that. It's really interesting. But he did shit like.
But the transitions were never harsh. Like it just kind of rolled into it. Yeah,
it was like it was seamless.
Yeah.
He synthesized chainsaws and lawnmowers and just like stuff to get sounds that you couldn't get otherwise.
Yeah.
He created his own instrument that was like this crazy amalgamation of like transistors and circuit boards and stuff just to get sounds that you couldn't get anywhere else.
Yeah. He did an amazing job.
Yeah, absolutely.
Amazing.
And he actually produced the new Bring Me the Horizon album.
Oh, he did.
He did, and you can hear a lot of his influence in that album. Now, that being said, I don't like that album because Bring Me the Horizon has kind of shifted directions, and they're not.
Yeah, they're kind of poppy now.
Yeah, they're not making what they were making.
No. Well, even you can hear it. Even what's the one that they did?
They did an EDM album.
Is that? Well, there was like their old stuff, and I can't remember. It's like Sanct Asylum or something like. I don't remember what the name of the album is. It's the one that's got like the gold circle with all the inlay inside of it.
I don't remember.
Yeah, that one is more metalcore.
Yeah.
And then like once you start hearing some of like the EDM type stuff going into what's the other album they got? It's like I'm so bad with album names.
Songs like Spirit. And,
yeah. Which, I mean, those aren't bad songs. They're good songs. They're good songs.
Sure. But they're more poppy.
Yeah, you can definitely hear.
You can always tell when that mainstream influence starts to come into a band's kind of repertoire. Like, if you ever go back and you listen to Avenged Sevenfold stuff when they were first.
Well, I mean, and also too, he had a problem with his vocal cords, so they couldn't really do the same thing that they were doing before.
Even beyond that, like their first couple of, if you look at their discography, like every song they've ever released, and go back all the way to the beginning, it was 100%. It was 100. I want to talk about that.
Mike Tyson.
I want to talk about Mike Tyson in a minute. It was 100% thrash metal.
Yeah.
It was complete thrash metal, and I hate thrash metal because it's just noise. It's literally just noise.
Saint Anger. The worst fucking album ever fucking released.
But then, as they went along, you could hear that mainstream influence start to come in.
Yeah.
You get songs like Backcountry, which are good songs.
It's not my. I mean, I understand why people like it, but I don't like that song.
He
sounds whiny in that song.
Yeah, he kind of does. But so Mike Tyson, I just wanted to say real quick, have you ever seen that video? Oh my God, did we talk about this on the last episode?
Oh, we haven't released it, so we'll talk about it again.
Okay, we'll talk about it again. He was being interviewed after a fight by somebody, and the guy interviewing him was asking him questions about the fight or whatever, and Mike Tyson just goes, "I broke my back," and the guy was like,
"What?
He was like, "My back is broken," and he was like, "What do you mean, like a vertebrae?" He goes, "Spinal."
He has so many crazy interviews. Have you ever seen the one where
he got punched in the head for a living?
Yeah, where he's like talking about eating people's children.
No.
I'm pretty sure that was him. I was like, he's fucking lost it.
I love that video because like everybody in the comments are like doing like their own version of it. Like there's one guy who was like, I took my test. My test is taken. Final. Yeah, all those fucking boxers, man. Like Evander Holyfield. Like I watched something about him recently. I don't remember exactly what it was, but you could just tell like when he was talking. Like he had a hard time focusing.
Yeah, something's going on there.
You can see it in his eyes. Like, but it's like punch drunk.
Punch drunk. Yeah.
You can only get your brain
can only get
so
sloshed
much
around inside your head so many times.
Yeah. And it's not like UFC.
Well, there's multiple ways to beat somebody.
There's multiple ways to beat somebody in UFC, but in boxing, it's like you got to win more points and you go the distance in all 12 rounds or whatever it is. Which very rarely happens.
Or you knock them the fuck out.
Because fighters, even professional boxers, usually burn out around round 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Especially if there's been a bunch of trash talk before in that first round, they just go in there just like fucking
throwing haymakers.
Yeah, enraged chimpanzees going after each other. Yeah, I mean.
Hey, I've been heard you been talking shit, eh?
Where's the fucking ringside coach here? I got punched in the fucking head here. Fucking bleeding from my eye here. Dude, have you ever seen that fight with Bob Sapp versus Cro Cop?
I have watched all of Cro Cop's. For a while there, I was fascinated with him.
Yeah. Well, did you see when he punched Bob Sapp in the eye?
Yeah.
And Bob Sapp, who is like a 6 foot...
He kicked him in the head.
What was that? I thought he punched him.
He kicked him in the fucking head.
Well, Bob Sapp...
He might have punched him after. He kicked him in the fucking head. Like, Bob Sapp, his big old fucking ham hock was standing... He hit him so fucking hard that he made him punch himself in the head and broke his own fucking orbital bone.
Yeah. That's it, yeah. Bob Sapp is this 6'8".
He's a fucking monster.
400-pound solid muscle.
It was like a big thumb.
Yeah. he's fucking huge. And Cro Cop hit him so fucking hard, like at the beginning of the match.
Yeah, it was a pride fight.
Yeah.
Have you ever watched any of those like old school pride fights?
Yeah,
they're the best.
Last episode we talked about Don Fry and
they're the best.
Yoshihiro
Hiramoto,
Mamamoto, something like that.
Something. Yeah, I can't remember his name.
Which, by the way, after we recorded that episode, I immediately looked at that video and watched
the best fight ever.
My favorite part about that video is looking at the people in the crowd going, look at this. Look at what we're witnessing. But
it's almost like the fucking Mad Max thing. Like they might have should have like had the thing spread. Everybody's like, witness me.
Yeah, so Bob Sapp gets hit, and he's this giant mountain of a man, and he falls to the mat in the fetal position, and it looks like he's crying like a baby.
Yeah. Oh, Cro Cop.
Now, Bob Sapp is a terrible fighter. He's a shit fighter.
Yeah, he's horrible. So bad.
His record's terrible. But you look at this, I mean, Cro Cop was much smaller than
Have you ever heard,
Bob Sapp.
the history of Cro Cop? Like, he's Croatian SS. He's Secret Service.
Really?
Yes.
So he probably knows how to kill you.
He knows how to kill people.
Yeah. Like a rolled up newspaper.
Like, he is a legitimate badass fucking dude.
What is
like,
that
not
called?
only, like, in the ring, but, like
for real.
Like, for real.
It's, Defendu. Do you remember Defendu?
Defendu.
We were watching that thing about like the top 10 most deadly martial arts.
Yeah.
And Krav Maga was number 2, and we were all like, well, then what the fuck? If Krav Maga is 2, what can number 1 be? And it was called Defendu.
Yeah, but it's just you pick up shit and stab people with it.
You just pick up something near you and you beat somebody with it.
Yeah.
Like if I picked up that bass guitar right there and cracked you across the skull with it, that's Defendu. So all of a sudden I'm a martial artist. Like, what a load of shit.
Defendu.
Yeah, it's like, oh, you're an elite Israeli fighter, and you know how to like break my arms in like 10 different places before I even finish one blink. Well, I know how to hit you with something, so you better fuck off.
Like grab a pencil, like shove it in his eye.
Yeah, just shoot him with a shotgun. Defendu.
Yeah. Be like the fucking scene in what was it, the second Dark Knight movie where he's like does the magic trick with the pencil.
Yeah, he makes the pencil disappear.
Have you ever seen that? Like they actually like Heath Ledger like actually did that scene. Like he's actually bouncing his head off that table.
So how they?
Yeah, that's for real.
They clearly didn't shove a pencil in that man's eye. But...
So the way that they did it is I watched a video on it, and it was like he did something with his hand where he like grabbed the pencil out of the way and like right before his head came down, and then he was literally like the guy that was the stunt double for that dude. Like they did the take like 5 times.
So he literally just smashed that man's head all the table.
And like the fourth take that they did, the dude passed out.
Goddamn.
And then he did it one more time, and they used that last one. Yeah. Like he was literally taking the back of his head and slamming it into that table. That's why it looks so fucking real.
Yeah.
That's why everybody's like, "Holy shit!" Like.
Yeah. Well, you know that scene in the first Spider-Man movie, the Sam Raimi one, where Mary Jane's walking through the cafeteria and she slips and all that shit goes up in the air.
Oh yeah.
And Tobey Maguire catches all of it on a tray. He actually did that.
Really?
Yeah, it took him several takes. You'll always hear that it took 156 takes. It's not true.
Yeah.
One of the directors or somebody said, "Oh, here we go, take 156," because they did it a bunch of times.
Yeah.
And it's not really as impressive as it sounds because they use like magnets and putty to make it happen. But he still did really do that.
Yeah, you still have to do some work.
Yeah. You know, because I watched that movie recently and I was just like, it's so fucking campy.
Oh, yeah.
And like the scene where he comes home after he's been bitten.
Yeah.
And he's laying down and he's like, oh, he's freaking out because he's transforming. There's a part where...
Like he's like having a bad trip.
Yeah. There's a part where like all these images are flashing and there's like this fucking like 3D rendered skull that appears for like a half a second with like a little scream, and it's like the most early 2000s fucking thing ever. And it's like I just know that the VFX artist was like, "That's sick." Yeah, the fucking skull pops up for a second there. It looks like a shit post.
It's like Amy Lee singing in the background with one of those fucking choker chain necklaces.
Also in that movie, the scene where after that cafeteria scene where Flash comes up to fight him.
Yeah.
And, he punches at Peter, and Peter does, like, the slow, like, he looks that way, and then he looks at his arm. It's very clear that all they did was have the actor just move his arm slowly.
Yeah.
Because he's wearing, like, all these loose bracelets on his arm.
Yeah, and they're not moving.
They don't move. They stay completely still when he punches. And once you realize that scene is fucking ruined. Because it's like all of a sudden he just does this slow punch.
Yeah, I remember the first time I saw that movie when he like does the backflip or whatever. I was like, ugh.
But you know what? I fucking love those movies.
Oh yeah, they're still good movies, except for 3. Ooh, 3's so bad.
3 was...
Oh, by the way, Venom 2's getting ready to come out.
I saw that with Carnage.
Yeah.
We're finally getting a Carnage movie. I'm super
Which,
excited
by the
about
way,
that.
I thought that the first Venom movie was actually pretty good.
I did too. Yeah, a lot of critics shit all over that one.
Yeah, I thought it was actually pretty good.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's interesting that what's his name? Decided to play Eddie Brock.
Oh God, what is that guy's name?
Who, by the way, he is a fantastic fucking actor.
Yeah, he is. He's the guy that played Bane.
Tom Hardy.
Tom Hardy, yeah, Tom Hardy. Yeah.
He's done a bunch of really good movies. Like he did
Warrior.
Warrior was
Warrior's
a fantastic fucking movie.
That's a great movie.
He was in Inception.
Was he in Inception?
He was skinny in Inception. He was little.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because in Warrior, he's fucking jacked. It's like
jacked as
his
fuck.
traps in that movie start at his earlobe.
Yeah.
And like
it's insane looking.
go like over his shoulder. I don't know how he did that.
Yeah. I love that movie so much because he just like walks on the ring with no music and just like beats the fuck out of people and then walks out.
Just walks right out. Yeah. Yeah, that is a fantastic movie. But yeah, is it Woody Allen? Or Woody Harrelson?
Woody Harrelson. Woody Allen is the one that did the voice of the ant in Ants. You remember that movie? Yeah, that's Woody Allen.
Okay. Yeah. Which, by the way, Ants is better than Bug's Life.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
By a long fucking shot. But yeah,
I think they were targeting two different audiences, though. Let's be honest.
You think so?
I think Bug's Life was for like little kids.
Yeah,
and then Ants was like the part where like they
neurotic
fight
adults,
like where they fight the termites. There's like this massive
wow,
not really for kids.
That's super like
super
violent.
dark. Yeah, super dark and super violent.
And because Sylvester Stallone's ant character like got decapitated, and like the one ant like died. He got sprayed with acid. He was like,
and I can't do a Woody Harrelson, not a Woody Harrelson, but a Woody Allen impression. He's like, "Oh Jesus,
no, oh Jesus, we're gonna find your body. Don't worry." Yeah. But yeah, so we're finally getting Carnage. I hope that they do all the symbiotes because they're all really cool.
I don't know if I would have cast Woody Harrelson as what's the dude's fucking name? I'm not going to say Carnage because that's not
Cletus
Cassidy.
Cletus Cassidy.
Yeah. I wish that they would, and he might do a good job. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm going to give him the benefit of a doubt. Yeah,
but that fucking stupid ass wig he's got on top of his
Ronald
head.
McDonald hair.
Ronald McDonald's fucking wig.
I'll give him the benefit of a doubt. Yeah.
Honestly, I think they would have been better off getting Jim Carrey to do that part. Jim Carrey would have been a fantastic fucking.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like he would have been perfect for that fucking part because he's already insane as it is.
Yeah, which he's the only good part of that Sonic the Hedgehog movie.
Oh yeah, he was fantastic in that movie.
That movie's really boring. Yeah. I hated that movie was so boring. And it was kind of like it was great that they did the redesign because.
Do you think they really did the redesign, or do you think they had that sitting in the wings?
It's like I said. I'm pretty sure they just had that bad-looking one for the trailer to get everybody talking.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, that trailer came out 6 months before the premiere. No. There's no way they went and redid everything in 6 months. There's no fucking way that they did. They did it.
Yeah. So, they released that. They're like, oh yeah, this will get some traction.
Look how fucking angry they are. Hey.
You mad about your fucking hedgehog?
Hey, what's the matter? You upset about this hedgehog? He looks great. What are you talking about? Okay. We got. Hey, what about this guy? Huh? What about this guy? Look at his fucking eyeballs. Huh? No teeth on this guy. Yeah, go eat your fucking popcorn, drink your fucking Coke and shut up.
I remember when they released it, I was like, what the fuck? I was like, oh, God.
Yeah, that looks fucking awful. But yes, so we're getting a Carnage movie. I really hope that we see more of Venom and Carnage.
Yeah.
Because watching the first Venom movie, I found myself wanting more of Venom to be on screen, right? And I can't remember because Venom can shoot webs like Spider-Man. And I don't remember if in the movie they ever touched on that. They ever showed him doing that.
And it might be because of the place where they put it, because it's taking place in San Francisco. It's not taking place in New York City.
Well, there's still skyscrapers and shit.
Yeah, but I mean, the whole point of Spider-Man is like, well, you can't have Spider-Man in Atlanta because there's not enough big buildings. So like, he's just going to swing around the Capitol until he finds what he's looking for. Spider-Man's going to take a fucking lift to go where he needs to go.
I would love to see Spider-Man and Venom in a movie. Because those comics, the comic books where you had Spider-Man and Venom interacting with each other were always the best.
Oh, yeah.
Because it was such a great dichotomy between those two characters.
As far as, like, Marvel's concerned, like, I think Venom is my favorite character from Marvel.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd agree with that.
I think Venom's my favorite character because it's not just this clear-cut, like, I'm the good guy, like, I do this, and the bad guys do that.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, I'm the good guy, but I'm also fucking eating people.
Yeah,
so.
It's like fucking Superman.
Yeah,
Superman is a bad hero
because
he's he's like omnipotent. He's actually written and set up more to be like a bad guy.
Yeah,
because he's like all powerful, but he's got the one weakness. That's more of like a bad guy thing rather than like a hero thing.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And it's just like he's so fucking milquetoast.
Yeah,
it's just boring.
Well, I think that's why Invincible was so good.
Invincible is great.
With Omni-Man.
Yeah. Anybody listening, if you got Amazon Prime,
go watch it now.
Or if you don't get it, and go watch Invincible because it is.
Yeah, go watch it now.
It is fantastic.
It's fantastic. Yeah, probably as far as like animated, like superhero type stuff is concerned, like
top 10 for me.
Yeah, when you're talking about things like released within the past 10 years, the best one by a long shot.
Yeah, for sure.
Into the Spider-Verse was pretty good. Have you seen that?
Yeah.
That was a fantastic movie. That's probably one of the better, I would say, top 2 Spider-Man movies that they've released. I thought that was a really good movie.
That's a big part of Spider-Man's, story. Is the Spider-Verse thing. There's so many different Spider-Men, different universes and stuff like that. That's why I'm excited that this new Spider-Man movie that Marvel's making, No Way Home, is that what it's called?
Yeah, Doc Ock's in it.
Yeah, fucking Alfred Molina, yeah. And apparently Willem Dafoe.
Oh, he's in it too?
I've heard. I don't know for sure.
I think they're trying to keep some of it under wraps.
Yeah, but if you watch that trailer when that little bomb rolls up, that's Willem Dafoe's laugh.
Yeah.
So I think he's reprising his role there. And supposedly...
Which, by the way, how good of a cast was that for Green Goblin?
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, we're not so different, you and I, Spider-Man. So apparently the whole thing is like, there's multiple dimensions. So they're kind of easing... I feel like they're easing their way into... We can kind of put Spider-Man in those situations now where he's dealing with all these different multiple universes and things like that, and that opens up so much more room for new villains and new characters and stuff that wouldn't fit in these superhero movies that are kind of grounded in reality.
Well, they played around with it some too in like the Avengers Endgame thing, right?
Yeah.
Especially like when you
like Captain Marvel.
Once they introduced Doctor Strange, like they're like, oh, okay, now we can start introducing some more of this, right? Now we can start introducing more universes and all this kind of stuff. Because before then, it was like, oh, I built this machine, and this machine, like, and it's like, it's kind of...
Like, you really had to sell the fact that it happened realistically.
Yeah.
Like, there could be, like, mystery
whereas like, with Doctor Strange, like, that's kind of baked into the character, right?
Yeah.
So it's easier to be like, it's like, oops, like I opened up another universe, like didn't mean to do that, and then you know what I mean.
They don't spend a whole lot of time like I opened up a universe because of X, Y, and Z. So it's like that's
It's like that was a fuck up. I shouldn't have done that. But like,
but everybody keeps saying we're going to have Tom Holland, Andrew Garfield, and Tobey Maguire in this new Spider-Man movie as the all these Spider-Man together.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, I would love to see Tobey Maguire reprise his role as Spider-Man. Nothing would make me happier.
No.
I would love to see that.
I kind of hope that he's not like in super good shape.
He's just kind of dumpy.
It's like in the Spider-Verse one, the
Peter
one,
Parker?
where it's like that universe guy, where he was like he kind of made fun of like the whole like pointing like three, like if he reprises the role, like is that like I'm out of practice?
I would love to see that. I think Andrew Garfield, he gets a lot of hate for his portrayal of Spider-Man. I think he was a great Spider-Man.
His Spider-Man portrayal was good,
but he's like, oh, I'm just like super handsome, like super smart.
I don't like that Peter
Parker. I ride a skateboard and like, everybody hates me. It's like that doesn't work for Peter Parker.
No, Tom Holland is actually, as far as like the mesh between the two.
Yeah, he's a good middle ground.
He's a good middle ground.
Yeah, he's a very good middle ground. A lot of his like quippy, like wittiness, doesn't really come off very natural to me.
Yeah,
it's like, okay, there's just this huge, like you just don't see enough of that. For it to,
it's just like there's so many like
it feels very written.
Yeah, there's so many like parts in like the first Spider-Man series where he's like gonna cry.
Yeah, it's so fucking memeable now.
And then,
Tobey Maguire was the perfect Peter Parker.
Oh yeah, he's the perfect Peter Parker.
His Spider-Man is lacking.
Yeah, his Spider-Man was not that great, but his Peter Parker, he's the best Peter Parker.
Yeah, and that's really, you had to play both characters.
Yeah.
I fucking love the. You'll get your rent when you fix this damn door. Oh man,
pizza time!
Yeah, pizza time.
Have you ever seen the meme where it's like all the people in the bar and they're like, like the original one's like somebody scores like a goal like in soccer and they all start to jump up, yeah. And there's one where he comes in, he says the pizza time, he goes pizza time.
Oh man,
oh good.
Yeah, I'm super excited for Venom to kind of come into the forefront here.
Yeah.
I know he's still owned by Sony.
Yeah.
But Sony sold Spider-Man over to Marvel.
Yeah.
And I don't know if the thing is,
did they sell it or did they lease the rights?
Nah.
I don't think they sold the IP. I think they leased the rights to Marvel to be able to use it. Like in Avengers, and they were like, we're going to get a kickback off this. Like, you're not going to be able to own this.
Yeah, because Sony did just announce a new Spider-Man game, which they wouldn't be able to do if they had sold the IP.
Yeah.
So, yeah, maybe they did just lease the rights over to them. But it would be cool to see Spider-Man and...
Oh, I'd love to see a Spider-Man and Venom movie.
I tell you what, or in a movie, but I tell you what I would love is you have Spider-Man and Venom versus Kraven the Hunter.
Oh, yeah, that would be good.
That would be incredible. Kraven the Hunter was like one of Spider-Man's biggest, like, villains. And, Kraven, he's just like a fucking badass. He's like a man's man. He's just like, he's beating the shit out of Spider-Man at every turn.
I think probably my most favorite superhero movie is probably Logan.
I have not seen Logan yet.
Logan is so fucking good.
I really wanted to see it, but I haven't seen it yet. It is so fucking
good. Because it's not him, it's him getting ready to die.
Yeah.
And, like, you see him struggling the whole time.
Yeah.
Like, he's, like, bleeding everywhere. He's coughing up shit.
It's got, like, a much different tone.
Yeah, it's a different
X-Men
tone.
Movie. Yeah.
And, like, Professor X has, like, gone fucking insane.
Yeah.
And, like, they have to keep him in this thing to keep him from hurting people. And he's, like, in the middle of nowhere in fucking Mexico.
Yeah.
And it's just, like, this dystopian future where, like, all the fucking, they're the last ones left. It's so good. You got to watch it.
Yeah, I've been wanting to watch it.
Yeah, it's so fucking good.
Probably
it is my most favorite, at least X-Men movie.
Really?
Absolutely.
See, I've tried to go back and watch some of like the old X-Men movies.
Yeah.
And when they first started doing superhero movies, they did not have a good grasp on how to translate those two mediums together.
Yeah.
Like a comic book to a movie. Like it's like fucking making a movie about a video game. How the fuck do you do that? They're two different worlds.
Yeah.
So you got to find this somewhere in the middle where it meshes.
Yeah.
And I feel like those, the first couple of X-Men movies were way too Hollywood.
Yeah.
They were way too Hollywood. And it just doesn't, it doesn't come across very well.
Yeah. No, Logan was very, dark.
Yeah. If you ever read like a comic book.
They're dark.
They're dark.
They're dark.
And
people die all the time.
Yeah, and it's gruesome, and they show it. And it's like, even like, everybody thinks Spider-Man's kind of like this like plucky, happy-go-lucky thing. But a lot of the Spider-Man comics have got some of the most darkest, saddest, most gruesome shit happening in them.
Yeah.
But it's not like that's all it is.
Yeah.
You have like the normal stuff, but when that stuff comes up, it hits so that much harder because you haven't been seeing that the whole time.
Yeah, that's not just that.
Yeah, it's not like a Hellboy comic.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Well, I thought that movie was so good because it's not him. It's him as Wolverine, but he's not wearing a costume. Like, he's just got these old fucking clothes on, and he's like he's trying to get. And I'm trying not to give away the premise of the movie. But he's attempting to do something the entire time, which he knows he's going to die in the process of.
Yeah.
So it's like the whole, it's coming.
Yeah.
He knows it's coming. You know it's coming.
Yeah, it's like, a big thing you said there was he's just in normal clothes.
Yeah.
Well, everybody knows he's Wolverine.
Yeah.
Nobody, we don't have to show him in a costume.
Yeah.
Or, thank God we've never seen him in his comic book costume. Wolverine in the comic book is like 5'4".
Really?
Yeah, he's super short.
Well, I mean, I guess it would make sense because he's so old.
Yeah.
Right? So, like, people way back in the day were not big people.
No, not like now, no. Kids these days are fucking massive.
Yeah, massive fucking children.
Why are kids so big?
Yeah. All these fucking giant people running around with fucking mental disabilities.
Do you play Fortnite? You're fucking 6 feet tall. What the hell are you talking about?
Yeah.
Do you play football?
Yeah. Like, what the fuck? Like, here, take this basketball.
Yeah. I feel like one of the reasons why this newest iteration of Spider-Man worked so well is because they did not do an origin story.
Yeah.
Like how many times are we going to have to see how Spider-Man came to be?
Yeah.
Like, even in the multiverse, they kind of just made a joke out of it. He gets bit by the spider and he just kind of flicks it off his wrist and they make a big thing out of it.
Well, so they were like, everybody knows how it came. Everybody understands.
Yeah, at this point, everybody knows how Spider-Man got bit by a spider, whatever.
Like, they're not trying to insult your intelligence by like, oh, we have to spend the first 30 minutes of the movie retelling this.
So Spider-Man and this most newest Spider-Man, Tom Holland Spider-Man, he shows up for the first time in Civil War. Mm-hmm. And, Tony Stark goes to meet him or whatever. And even then he says, when whatever happened to me, he doesn't say, oh, I got bit by a radioactive spider. And it was like, he didn't have to say that.
Yeah.
It was really not necessary.
I kind of hope that in the new movie, Tobey Maguire isn't it, and Andrew Garfield and Tom Holland are both using the web shooters, and then Tobey Maguire doesn't have one. He does it, and they go, ugh.
It just comes out of that weird genital that he has on his wrist. Whatever the fuck that's supposed to be.
They're like, ugh, gross.
Ew, don't fucking web me up with that. It's like in Civil War, he webs up Falcon.
Yeah.
And Falcon goes, is this stuff coming out of you? Like, no, that would be ridiculous. Who would come up with an idea like that?
Who would come up with an idea like that?
God bless you, Sam Raimi. Yeah, I'm excited to see the multiverse, multiple universe thing.
Yeah, come to fruition.
Because, like I said, this is going to open up so many different avenues.
Well, and I think the thing is too is it's like all the Star Wars stuff. Like, you see, Jon Favreau is like, anything that he touches with Star Wars is fan-fucking-tastic.
Like
Mandalorian. I think was he in charge of Rogue One?
I can't definitively say yes or no.
He was involved in one of those better ones.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like,
well, because he's a Star Wars fan.
Yeah,
He's
exactly.
not some fucking suit sitting at a board of directors saying, how can we make this marketable?
Yeah.
He's a director saying, how can we make this enjoyable?
Yeah, exactly.
Which doesn't fucking happen anymore.
Yeah, and he does a good job of, like, he's like, hey, I'm going to introduce some stuff, and he'll kind of like hint at it, it's sort of like the black lightsaber or whatever.
Yeah.
And then when they use that, I was like, oh, fuck, is that?
Yeah, when I saw that, I was like, oh, my God. Oh, my God. They're really doing it.
But then, you have, like, people, like, I feel like that happened a lot with, the newest iteration of Star Wars, and also with a lot of these superhero movies there for a while, is that they were just like, nah, it's just a fucking cash cow. Mm-hmm. Like, these people are going to keep coming to see this shit. Mm-hmm. Where it's like, but if you put somebody in charge of it that's actually a fan of the material and they want to treat the material with the respect that it deserves because you have other people that are such fans of it that you're like, I want to give them an experience that, like, this is why they came to see this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not just some bullshit fucking Emperor Palpatine attached to a fucking rock. Like
his life support system.
His life support fucking system.
It's like when we were kids, I feel like when things were coming out, I mean, like, yeah, they marketed that stuff with toys and products and stuff, but you didn't see any of that until either the trailer released, well after the trailer released, or after the movie released.
Yeah.
Nowadays, you start seeing all the toys.
Well, they're trying to get ahead of it because they're trying to maximize profit.
Yeah, you start seeing the toys and the McDonald's, the things, and fucking Subway seems to think that children want canvas bags. Yeah, I don't get that.
Didn't know that.
That's their thing that they give kids. Instead of a toy, here's a bag.
Here's a bag to put all those other toys in. The parents are like, oh, thank God. You can put all these shitty fucking toys in this shitty fucking bag.
Yeah. Hey, I'm trying to get my kid a fucking sandwich here. What you gonna give? Yeah, give me one of them bags there.
Yeah, give me one of them bags there.
Hey, here you go.
Trying to get that spicy Italian. Hey.
I want you to eat my fucking BMT. You play with your frozen toys there. Put it in your bag. Put it in your fucking bag. Don't leave it on the table.
Oh.
Speaking of Subway, just one quick thing right quick before we wrap up. Did you know that in Ireland, Subway is not allowed to call their bread.
Really?
Because there's so much sugar in it.
Really?
That it's not bread.
Interesting.
It's like a pastry.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it was packed with so much sugar.
Subway has pulled the wool over everyone's eyes.
You motherfucker,
They somehow convinced people it was healthy to eat a loaf of bread for lunch.
Yeah.
Now, granted, when I go to Subway, I always get the flatbread.
Yeah.
But still, if you look at there's like 25 grams of sugar in that shit.
I very seldomly will eat Subway, and even if I do, I'll usually get like a 6-inch. Yeah. So, I mean, I understand it's like, man, that's a lot of bread to be put in your body and then claim that it's healthy.
Yeah, when it's fucking
it's like,
not.
I understand what this is and why I'm doing it.
It's also not fresh.
Yeah.
Because you walk in there, and that shit's sitting in tubs all day.
Yeah. You want to know who has really good subs?
Jersey Mike's.
Publix.
I've heard. I still haven't had a Publix
has the best fucking sandwiches. Hands fucking down.
I need to check that out.
They have one. It's called the Atlanta Falcons like chicken tender sub or something like that.
It's really good in the first half and disappoints you.
Yeah. All right. Shit, they disappoint you throughout the whole fucking game now.
You always guaranteed to choke.
And they're fucking massive. They're like this fucking big.
Like a party sub?
It's like a party fucking sub. Yeah. And they put in chicken tenders that they make there. Mm. And then so they put chicken tenders, cheese, spicy sriracha, bacon, and peach preserves.
You talked about this once before.
It is so fucking good.
I was a little apprehensive because I was like, I don't know about
it. Is
peach
so
preserves,
fucking good.
But I'll give it a shot.
Yeah, you got to. It is so fucking good. That is probably, hands down, right now, that is my favorite sub sandwich.
Have you ever had Jersey Mike's before? Jersey Mike's is really good.
I think there's a Jersey Mike's in Douglasville.
There's one in Hiram.
I don't think I've ever had Jersey Mike's before. No, I've had Jimmy John's. Not a fan of Jimmy John's.
I've never had Jimmy John's.
I don't like Jimmy
I've heard
John's.
Shit.
I'm not a fan.
But
it's all cold subs.
Oh, okay.
It's like, I don't make a sandwich at home.
Sandwich. I eat a fucking club sandwich at home.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Jersey Mike's is good. Firehouse, I personally
like
Firehouse a lot because they give you a pickle slice, and I fucking love pickles.
Yes.
So they earn my love with that alone.
A pickle, what is it they call it?
Pickle spear.
Yeah, a spear.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're pretty good. I like their, they have a really good corned beef sub. That's like the...
Does it have cabbage on it? Because I hate cabbage.
Like no, it doesn't have cabbage on it.
Because I know people pair cabbage with corned beef a lot.
It's like Dijon mustard.
Ooh, I like Dijon mustard.
Italian dressing, corned beef, and cheese. I think mayo on the bottom. That's really good.
To me.
It's really good.
Yeah.
And then the brisket sandwich is really good too.
Mary and I went to Maple Street Biscuit Company this morning up in Woodstock.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's not an awful drive. It was well worth it to go there.
Oh, yeah, it's so good. Their biscuits are so good.
I got the 5 and Dime, which is a chicken biscuit with there's sausage and shiitake mushroom gravy, a fried egg, a slice of cheese, and bacon. And she got the Squawking Goat, I think it's called, and hers was like a chicken biscuit with egg, and then it had pepper jam all over it.
That sounds good.
And then we also got the Sweet Grace, which is a chocolate chip waffle with powdered sugar.
Oh, my God.
And then we also got their maple sausage meatballs.
Yeah.
So we did it big. Because it was like, fuck, we drove an hour and a half to get out
we're
here.
going to make this worth the
drive. It
drive.
was like a $60 breakfast.
Yeah. We're going to make this worth the drive.
But they have the best coffee. Their
coffee's delicious.
Their Maple Tap coffee is 100% far and away the best coffee I have ever had. And it's for people who like coffee, not people who like hot milk with sugar in it.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, I drink black coffee.
Yeah.
But this stuff is like, it's so smooth, not bitter at all.
Yeah, and they got like 5 different blends.
Yeah, it has no bite to it. They've got their dark roast. They got their amber light. They got the Maple Tap. They have another version of the Maple Tap, but I like the original Maple Tap. If you're on one of the unfortunate bastards who don't live anywhere near a Maple Street Biscuit Company, you can go online and order their coffee. And if you like coffee, I'm telling you, get the Maple Tap. It is so fucking good. I picked up some K-Cups while I was there today, and I'm going to hide them in my office at work so nobody can have them.
They also they do fresh squeezed lemon or orange juice there, too. The one that we went to in Destin, we got some orange juice because I saw it just sitting there. I was like, hey, I'll have an orange juice.
Reveille does the same thing. Have you been to Reveille yet?
I have not.
Reveille's really good.
But that's the first time like I've ever had like fresh squeezed orange juice. So I was like, oh my God, that's so good.
Yeah, when it's not just like sugar.
Yeah, just
like
when you drink it out of it's ugh.
Sunny D is not orange juice.
It's not orange.
It can be.
It's like Tang.
Tang. Oh man.
Isn't that the one with like the fucking orangutan on it or whatever? Yeah.
Yeah.
I never understood the marketing for that.
That was big when we were kids.
Yeah.
While we're shilling for products here, you know about Dr. Squatch? Have you seen like the ads and stuff on Facebook for Dr. Squatch?
I actually use their products.
I use their products as well. I recently got my first. Listen, fucking Dr. Squatch. I'll fucking advertise your product. I'm a big stinky hairy man. I gotta wash my ass. I gotta wash my fucking ass with your fucking product there. Yeah, fantastic stuff. I'll tell you the reason why I even looked into their product was because I want to move away from deodorant that has aluminum in it.
Yeah.
For 2 reasons. Because it started to discolor my skin.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's not good.
Yeah.
Also, your body
concerning.
Yeah, your body absorbs aluminum.
Yeah.
And it causes cancer. And so I got I got a stick of deodorant, a bottle of shampoo, conditioner, 3 bars of soap.
Yeah.
For $53. Which, when you consider how much you spend on the store for that shit, that's about what you're going to spend.
Yeah.
But it's all natural stuff. Their
soap and their soaps smell great.
Yeah, it does. I got like pine tar, citrus cedar, and something else.
Yeah, and they have all kinds of products. They have stuff for like beard balms and everything else.
Yeah. So I'm shilling for Dr. Squatch.
Oh, yeah, I love their
good
stuff.
I love their stuff. Very good stuff. Even the deodorant that doesn't have aluminum in it, because everybody says, oh, you got to have the aluminum in it because it's the only thing that works.
Yeah.
It works fine for me.
Yeah.
I fucking go to the gym for 2 hours every day.
Yeah.
And I still smell fine.
No, you don't see people turn the fucking nose up.
Yeah.
You don't like walk them out. There's people like passed out on the ground.
Like when Pumbaa goes into the fucking mud pit and they all run away.
Oh, good.
Well, I think that's about time for us today. At the time that we're recording this, like I said, I'm sitting on top of the audio files for episode 13. I'm going to get that edited and posted and all that stuff. So I would say that'll be coming out soon, but when you're hearing this, it'll already be out. So we're kind of like in a weird time paradox right now.
Yeah. Maybe we can do like a back-to-back release.
Oh, we could do that.
Let's do it back to back.
We'll do that.
Yeah. We'll do like one day, and then we'll drop the next one the next day.
Yeah, we can do
Because
that.
it's been such a long time since we've released.
That's our gift to you. It's hey. We know you've been waiting a long fucking time.
Maybe we'll make you a little commercial there, eh?
Hey, man, I'll cut a little promo for you.
Cut a little promo, eh?
Something make you fucking laugh, make your belly jiggle there, eh? I'm fucking laughing here. I'm fucking listening podcast here. But yeah. So, as usual, thank you, everybody, for listening and supporting the podcast. We're going to
try to do better. We're going to try to do better.
Again,
no more promises. We're just going to attempt to do better.
Try. We're going to stop telling you that we're going to try, and we're just going to try. But yeah, thank you so much, everybody, for listening. We hope that you've enjoyed listening today, and look forward to the next episode. Wesley, do you have anything to close with?
Nope. Just thank you. Thank you for the continued support. It does mean a lot. It helps us.
Absolutely. Well, that's the podcast, everybody. Thank you and goodbye.
Bye, everyone. Hey, welcome to Tony's Pizzeria, and we got bookies in the back.
Hey, I saw on the with the oh fuck! I'll put that as a cold out after the outro music.